Hi, you guys. Welcome to a new episode of Too Much with Shey
and Becca. Welcome back, guys. And I want to say thank you to all the new supporters and all the reoccurring supporters. We love y'all. I just want to make sure I always give y'all a shout out right in the beginning because I don't want y'all to think that y'all support goes unnoticed or like the comments, the likes, the shares, like none of it goes unnoticed. We do appreciate every single one of y'all. Even the people who be hating on us and don't agree with our opinions, thank you for commenting. Even though y'all say that we have a suck podcast, you still commented. So it still means something.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for supporting. If you are new here, please stick around. We talk about a lot of things, hence our podcast name Too Much. We do start off with like heavy hitting topics, but then we do wind down, talk about sports, social media, all the fun things. So please stay tuned and make sure you like this video. Okay. If you are a reoccurring subscriber, make sure you give us that like. We need that bad. Okay. But let's get into our weekly rundown.
What's happening? Shayla, what's happening? Because I was gone first the last 3 weeks.
Okay, so my week has been weeking. I want to start off by first sharing with you guys. I'm really not a chips type of girl, but I found this chip.
But I feel like we're both not snackers. Like we're not really snackers like that.
I like to snack. What I don't like is like the chip. Like I'm not a big chip girl, like Doritos and all of that. That's not me. I'm more like chocolate, whatever. The moral is that thanks to this guy called Bobby, I have his app Bobby approved from YouTube. If you know, you know, he tells you what's good and what's healthy. You just scan a barcode. I don't know what his credentials are, honey, but he got me and he sounds like he know what he's talking about. So I follow him. So these, if you like sweet potatoes, these sweet potato chips are so good for you. It only has 3 ingredients. And that's how you know if something is really healthy. The less ingredients, the better. And if you can actually pronounce the ingredients, you're doing well. So this has sweet potatoes, avocado oil, and sea salt. That's it. So if you're looking for healthy chips, this is it. Moderation.
What would you compare it to? Because like I don't really like sweet potatoes. So what would you compare it to?
Oh, I feel like you need to like sweet potatoes because it literally tastes like sweet potatoes and some salt. It's really good though.
So
I
it
like
tastes
it.
like a regular Lay's chip.
In the way that it's a bit salty, yes, but like it's not the same at all. But I think you should give it a try.
When I come over, I'll just taste yours.
Well, they're done actually. Sorry. Next time when I hit up Costco, one of my favorite spots. Another thing that has been really grinding my gears is that fact that Puerto Rico once again is dealing with a power outage, an island-wide power outage. I don't know what it is with like Luma, who is like the private company that's in charge of providing and maintaining the light on the island. It's super, super frustrating, especially because, you know, Americans, people love to go there and enjoy the beaches and tourism. It's all great and dandy. But at the end of the day, the people that are actually living there, like, they can't just hop on a flight and leave when, you know, things get difficult and they are without light. This has a reoccurring issue. And when things like this happen, people are like, oh, but isn't you Puerto Rico U.S. territory? This is why people are like, yeah, we are Americans, but we're treated like we're not. Because if there was a power outage in the whole United States of America, baby, that would be the top of every news segment. But when Puerto Rico has it, it's just like, oh, just another thing. The U.S.
It's common.
And it sucks because it shouldn't be a common thing, especially if we are supposed to be a U.S. territory. But are we going to ask Trump, the one that was throwing paper towels? Please. So I hope that Luma gets its things together and get the light back to the people.
And you know what's terrible? Your girl goes to Puerto Rico next week.
So Luma,
I mean, it's terrible for the people who live there, way more than me. Like, I guess I'm talking about in terms of like, oh, I'm about to travel there and they have no power. But the people who do live there, like, that's a terrible. Nobody should live without the common necessities,
especially when you're paying for this. Like, it's not like it's free 99. Like, no, people are paying for these services and it's consistently trash. Next, me and Netflix got real beef. I know I've mentioned this before, But if you are the CEO of Netflix, I need you to stop being money hungry and greedy. Let a girl watch Love on the Spectrum. I am so mad that I cannot continue watching that show. It literally, I was this close to creating my own account so I could finish Love on the Spectrum. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to give these money hungry people my money. Like, this whole password sharing thing has really pissed me off. What like, you know, the rich people, they got houses in different like countries.
Right.
What happens to them? They got to make a whole new
Oh,
account
girl,
for every
they
country.
said you add $6.99 if you want to add a different household.
They're so annoying, but I hope you enjoying no one watching your shows, because you could really be getting more views and more, um, more talk about your shows. But that's neither here nor there.
I think that like when people like when these platforms and stuff do that, they're basically
Yeah.
trying to make it like, oh, if you feel more inconvenience, you're more inclined to actually create an account, but actually you're deterring people.
Yes. And for cheap people like me, absolutely not. You're not moving me. I was this close, but then I remembered who I am and I said, no, you're done. But I do love on the Spectrum. If you have Netflix, please do watch it. You have RFK Jr. talking about he wants to explore more the causes of autism because these people can't work or they can't date. I'm like, has he not watched Love on the Spectrum? And if you really cared, you would make healthcare more accessible. That's how you can help. But that's neither here nor there. The last thing I want to say is that Michelle Obama and her brother are killing it on their podcast. They have hit guests after hit guests after hit guests. The recent episode I saw was with Tracy Ellis Ross, and she is talking about dating and how she has grieved that part of her because she is a successful actress, but she still hasn't, found the one. And I feel like I'm in my 20s and I'm like, oh my God, I feel you, girl. Dating is a struggle. So if you haven't watched, I think it's the IMO podcast. Go check it out because they are dropping gems over there.
And I wanted to, so when I saw that, I did send it to you, but I know you watched the podcast, so you probably like really got into it more.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I like sent it to you because I was like, I think that's such an interesting conversation. Like, do you feel like you've come to terms? Like, I know we're still searching. Yes, we're still young. And I mean,
Yeah.
Tracy Ellis Ross, she's still
Let's
kicking,
see. I'm
screaming,
gonna.
and yelling. Like, do you feel like you ever think about,
Mm.
do you ever think about what it will look like if you never do find your significant other?
No. She's 52. I'm 28. And I think it's also different depending what you want in life. I really want children. So I feel like if someone, I believe she said she didn't want kids, but don't quote me on that. I feel like if I didn't want kids, I would be more content with not having a partner. And I know you can have kids without a partner, but just for me, as someone that was raised with a single parent, I know that that's not how I want to raise my kids. Yes, I know I made it. I'm a good child, whatever. But I would prefer to raise my kid as much as I can do to help that in a two person household. So I would be very sad and upset. I would be mourning, like bad crying every day in bed, mourning.
I think for me, what it is that I feel like I've been single for so long that like I know Shayla and I talk about this all the time. We say it like for jokes and stuff like that. Like the day Rebecca gets a man, it's about the I feel sorry for that. The day my man comes, if he
Yeah.
comes,
We
baby.
will. We have to speak it into existence. God has
But it's
our
like
men out
also
there.
my thing is I feel like it's the same way how I feel like nowadays we see more of the conversation of people saying I don't want kids. I
Mhm.
think we also need to stop trying to push the narrative that everybody wants to find their like life partner. Some people don't want that. And like I know we're talking about Tracy Ellis Ross and her saying that she's like mourn that part of like dating and not finding the person
Of
like
her life.
of
Mhm.
her life. And it's like for me, my thing is yes, I do want to find my husband because I do want to share my life with somebody. But also I've been single for so long and I've shared all my wins and all my losses with myself and I feel content with that as well. So I think for me it's kind of just like what life has to offer. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I don't think that I'm really like that hurt by it.
But I feel like also it's like the longer that you are single, the harder it is because you get extra content with yourself. You know how people are like, oh, when you get out of a relationship, like take time for yourself and like learning about you. I've had that for 28 years. And yes, I've dated and stuff, but I feel like I've been single longer than I have been in relationships. So I think that makes it harder because I'm used to never having to clock in with nobody or keep up with anybody. I go and do what I want when I want. But there are moments where I'm like, dang, I wish I had my partner where we could like plan trips and like do
Right.
stuff that you want with your man. But
Right.
anyway, how was your week?
Yeah, and to last point before we continue, I definitely agree with you. I think it'll be cute in terms of like, I watch Hallmark movies every day of my life. So it's like to see that, I would love that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But also I don't want to force myself to be like, I feel like people make it seem like being in a relationship is always like such like a happy thing, but like there's people who really don't even realize that they're being emotionally abused in a relationship. And that goes both ways in terms of like men and women or women and women and men. It doesn't matter. Like, sometimes all relationships aren't happy and some people just settle. So it's like, I'd rather just settle for myself than to settle for a toxic relationship. But let's get into it. So we are in prom season. First of all, Shayla, like I miss prom. I feel like the prom option dresses that we had when we were growing up, and I'm not saying we're really not that old for real, but like, it's been a drastic fashion difference, right? And I feel like if I did prom, how dramatic and extra I am. If I did prom today as Rebecca, baby.
But also, I feel like two things. One, these local sites like Fashion Nova and all these online things weren't as prevalent as they are now. So that definitely has a whole other, because they do have things, but they're way more affordable than they were back then. And two, your budget. I was broke city central, honey. I had to work extra hours at Marshall to buy my little blue dress.
Yeah.
So
And then
the
also,
economic state matters for sure.
And I also think size like acceptance, because I remember growing up, like people used to look at a size 14 as like you was like Shamu, girl. And so like when you would go to like the dress shops, they didn't have that many cute options for like plus size people in terms of like prom dresses. I remember, and I've always been tall too. So a problem that I always have is that things don't really touch the ground, and I've always wanted to train on my dress.
What color was your prom dress?
Oh, girl, both my proms. I went to 3 proms actually. But
talk to me about your prom. What color?
Both of my proms I went to, we went juniors and seniors had prom together. So I went my junior and senior year. Both my dresses were black.
Oh, I don't even know why I asked that. Of course. Rebecca only wears black. With,
you know me.
With hints of color to please.
Okay. I had a nice red lip too. I was eating down. Anyway, but like,
is your wedding dress gonna be black?
No, it's going to be, I think I want a white dress or a red dress. I don't know yet. That's if I go back to our conversation, if I find my life partner.
You're getting married next year. That's what you told me.
Girl, I keep having to push back the cake tasting because my listen, my man is watching this. Come find me. You see Shayla already got herself a little bae that be in the comments.
Baby, I do not have a bae.
Don't deny my boy.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Don't deny my boy like that. I got your back, Jay. I got it. But no, like if you are, if you feeling Rebecca, just comment down below and let me know. We have a wedding coming up, baby. But anyway, we started talking about prom. But the reason why I started talking about it is because I've been seeing a lot of people like post like their children going to prom and stuff like that. And I see a lot of people who are pulling up with their sons to like the girl's house for prom. There's fathers coming outside with guns or like trying to talk crazy, like doing the most.
Where have you seen this?
Girl, on TikTok. You don't see like the fathers trying to be like that extra macho dude. It's like, let me tell you this right now. If my son approaches your house to go to prom with your daughter and you are talking to him crazy, 1, and 2, you got a gun, your daughter is going to prom by herself.
Yeah. No.
We are not doing that. And then now, because if I got my children, I got my man. If my man come back out with something, don't sit there and look at him crazy too. Because now we're going tit for tat. Y'all need to relax. Y'all need to calm down. These are children. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
understand.
unacceptable.
I understand trying to set the boundaries and the limits and everything like that. But at the end of the day, no matter how much you threaten, children are going to do what they want to do.
Also, what happens to just talking?
Right. Like all that, hey, don't walk up on my daughter like that. Da, 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 da. Make sure you keep your hands where I can see.
Also, when it comes to prom, like you have a whole asking out process. Like if you didn't want them to go out to prom together, then like whatever.
Right.
That's
Right.
yes. We if you're going on prom, we are so excited for you. Comment down below, let us know. I also enjoyed my prom. I think it was a great experience and everyone deserves to have a prom.
Yes, 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 definitely. And if you like, I know for me, I didn't have that many options, but I know girls nowadays have a lot of options. So it's like, if you want us to help you pick out a dress idea, just DM us on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook, TikTok, something. We can help you. We
Prom
can.
probably gonna be over by then, sis. I think.
Prom season is until June.
Oh, okay. Well,
Some people have it early, like in March or April. Yeah.
okay.
And the next things I want to talk about, this generation is too freaked out, right? And I know you're like, freaked out. What does that mean? If you don't know the terminology, it's basically like too hypersexual, right? And I'm talking about in terms of like,
This coming from you is crazy.
but I'm saying in terms of like, I don't mind showing off my assets, my goodies, my stuff like that. And I'm very open about being sexually free. Like, do what you want, but be safe and be respectful to yourself, and don't push yourself past boundaries that you don't think that, like, you don't feel comfortable with. But when I say this generation is too freaked out, I'm saying people do not know how to have regular conversations without the element of sex being the first thing that's brought up. And the reason why I say that is because on too many instances, and one of the instances I'm about to mention, a man basically slid into my phone, skipped all the hey pleasantries and everything like that. First thing that comes out his mouth, well, not even mouth, the first thing he typed, when you gonna sit on my face? I'm trying to be suffocated. And literally the first thing he added to that is, we gonna skip all the small talk. When you gonna sit on my face? I'm trying to be suffocated. Did you think that
You're
was
trying to be blocked and deleted. That's the quickest way to not get a response. Like that's
like,
so disrespectful.
I'm like, what is good with y'all? Like, there needs to be a study done. And it's like, one of the things I realized, right? There needs to be more women serial killers, because some men make themselves too easy. Now, what if I said yes, right?
We're not promoting violence.
No, not promoting violence. I'm just saying, you see, like, people used to just be walking up to Ted Bundy knowing what he did just because he's fine. It's like, if you slide into my phone and you try to make me pull up to your crib, you don't even know me. You don't even know my psychology report. Like, you don't even know what type of medication I'm on. like, I just don't understand. And there needs to be a study on it. That's all I want to say, because that's crazy. And the last thing I'm going to mention, I am the worst person to play victim with, because I'm going to make it worse for you. If I feel like a lot of people like to push people's buttons and try to see how far they can go with people. Or then, like, when the moment that you respond, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that to me. Da-da-da. I'm the type of person, I give you that one warning. Once I give you that one warning, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to have to call that hotline, because I'm not going to stop. And now you want to play victim with me? Oh, baby, let me show you how to be a real victim, because you could have avoided all this if you left me at peace. Let me be. And I think sometimes people just don't understand that not everybody is the same. Like, Shayla might say one thing to you and she's gonna be like, and I'm done talking with you. Me, if you kept trying to provoke me, oh baby, I'm going to show you exactly why I told you to stop in the first place. And I'm not gonna stop. And now look at you being victim, you crying, you screaming, you yelling. I don't care. Should have left me alone.
So that's that on that. Comment down below how you feel about people playing the victim.
Yes.
Next to our major topics, I think I'm gonna switch this to the news segment. This is gonna be the news segment. Unfortunately, I even hate to have to talk about this because
Yeah.
we sound like broken records. Is like the quadrillionth time another school shooting.
Hmm.
This time, it happened at Florida State University on Thursday. Um, the shooting left 5 people injured and 2 others dead.
I just want to say really quickly, obviously, as things keep coming out about the story, the numbers may change, different things
Yeah,
may be found out. So if you are interested, make sure you go and see like what the most current updates are, because by the time we post this, news changes every day.
yeah. So like I mentioned, a shooting happened at Florida State University, and the shooting left 5 people injured and 2 others dead. The shooter was identified as a 20-year-old boy. He was a student of the university and the son of a sheriff deputy. Officials say her son used one of her weapons in the shooting. The shooter is now in custody and he is also hospitalized. So that's why some reports say that 6 people were injured. Um, and this is not just this week. We had another shooting, and that shooting happened at a high school in Dallas, Texas. It's so infuriating that these school shootings continue to happen. Not only school shootings, just shootings at regular places of living anywhere, and nothing changes. Is the 1 week of outrage, of news reports everywhere. Then when it's time to pass legislation, it's always met with some sort of obstacles. And I just don't understand, what is it going to take. Kids have died because of guns, like middle age, in high school, in everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter who passes away, who, it doesn't matter, nothing. Like, it gets to a point that, like, this is why it pisses me off when we're consistently here talking about, the current administration and all of the things that they're focused on, because you got all this energy for things that are not issues. But then when it's something so simple and so evident as gun reform, you're mute. Like, all of this energy that you are wasting on diversity, equity, and inclusion, on school curriculums, you should be redirecting to help fix the gun problem in America. Because this is unacceptable. It's just been 1 week and we've had 2 school shootings. Isn't that, like, how do you feel when you see these? Because my heart goes out to these victims, especially the family, because I feel like now in 2025, you see this and you can't even be like, well, I hope that this is the shooting that's going to create change, because
And,
you know that it's not.
and I just want to let me make sure that this is the student that did it. Okay, got it.
It
Because I
was a
have
20-year-old.
yeah, I just needed to see what he looked like. You asked me how I feel. I feel exhausted because I feel like I'm tired of repeating the same thing. And clearly, it always falls to deaf ears, and the deaf ears it falls on is the victims. So, whenever there's a school shooting, we've talked about this in past episodes, they talk about mental health. And then you see the people say, guns kill people. No, let me rephrase that because I know somebody going to take that wrong. We see the people usually say the phrase, people kill people, guns don't kill people. What does that person have in their hand? I could punch somebody dead in the face right now, and if I hit them at the right time, at the right precision, they could die. Is it likely? No. Could it happen? Yes. If I have a gun and I shoot somebody in the forehead, what's their chances of survival? Not that great. So it's like we make these things very accessible for people, and we sit there and we say mental health. Yes, mental health is an issue, but the fact of the matter is somebody has the gun in their hand to impact or help them sit there with their mental issues, go and do something.
But even then, when these people try to say that it's mental health,
Y'all
what
not
are you doing to help the mental health? Because you're actually eliminating health insurance, making it harder for people to get the help that they need. So it's even contradicting. Let's say that it is true and you do believe that it's not the guns, it's the mental health. You're restricting, you're making it harder for people to get the help that they need, especially us our age. like our generation, this is why they're dealing with so much depression and sadness, because everything just feels, you know how you said it's exhausting? A lot of us feel that way. We were raised with school shootings. We were raised with everything being just hard. Like even like simple goals as like owning a house and going to college, even that has become harder because people are trying to make it harder for you to get financial aid, right? Who knows if we're ever going to be able to own a home? Like every day we wake up to things that is just like exhausting, and
And
it
it's like,
leads to people to do these types of things. Not like, it's just very hard to be a young person in America
it's
today.
just hard to be a person in general in America right now. And the thing is that also bothers me is like we're talking about exhaustion, right? And it's like every day I already stress about the things that I need to stress about. My student loans, like paying bills, this, that, and the third. I have a sister who is in college. When I see these college shootings, now instead of me thinking my child, I said my child, my sister is safe on her campus, I have to think every day, I hope to goodness nobody is sad or hurt or angry enough to sit there and impact my whole family by doing something at her college.
And also, like, if you have a gun, make like, it's like, again, we sound like broken records. If you are a sheriff deputy, I'm sure you have training on how to lock up your guns or your, I don't even know, I don't think we could say that on YouTube. But if you have a firearm, make sure that you are taking the right precautions. If you feel so strongly about that amendment and everyone should have the right to bear arms, that comes with a responsibility. That comes with a responsibility. You need to make sure if you have a firearm that you are locking it up, and so no one can get to it.
Exactly, exactly. And Shayla mentioned this earlier, which is an amazing point. We keep focusing on the things that's not our biggest issue. We're so focused on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. These school shooters, there's not much diversity when you see who's the people doing them. But that doesn't seem to be the main concern. We're worried about a Latino, or we're worried about Haitians who are here trying to
Yeah, or
work
black
these
people in general.
right, these jobs that people don't want to do at all. We worried about that. We're worried about taxes, but y'all not talking about tariffs. We worried about minorities, but you're not talking about the percentage of white school shooters going to these schools impacting people's lives. We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion only applies to those they feel are beneath them.
Yeah, yeah. Because when it's someone that's a part of a minority, they don't bring the mental health card up. They
No,
don't.
it's
They
a part
say,
of
"Oh,
their
it's
nature.
because you are of this race that you did this." And again, like, I feel like I don't want to be insensitive to the families that were impacted by this, because it has to be so heartbreaking, especially when you know that nothing is going to change. You know what I mean? Like, will you ever reach justice? Let's say even like legislation does pass, you're never going to see your family member again. And like, I know Rebecca says this all the time. I know no parent wants to bury their kid.
And I
And like,
firmly
again,
believe
you work so hard probably to send your kid to college, and the last thing, regardless, I don't know if these individuals were students or were not, but regardless, the last thing that you're thinking is that you're going to be on a college campus and something like this is going to happen. Like, we are always we have to be so tense, right? Because these shootings are happening everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. You feel like you got to be on 10. And for people like me that overthink just naturally, like, people be like, "Oh, just relax." I'm like, how can I relax when every day you wake up to something else?
right, right.
Oof.
And to your point where we mentioned, I am a firm believer in children bury parents, parents don't bury children. I wholeheartedly believe that. And
Yeah,
every day we see parents being impacted in some type of way
yeah.
because their children had to lose their lives for something that as simple as a firearm. It's ridiculous. And
It
like to
is.
your point also, whenever it's a minority that does a crime, we're so quick to point out that they're a minority. This black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman. I remember
Mhm.
when that whole incident happened, where that man set a woman on fire on the
In New
train in
York.
New York. They were so quick to say this illegal immigrant set this woman on fire. But the moment a school shooter goes to a school, a white school shooter at that, suspect in custody. Who's the suspect?
And then when people mention like, oh, why do people always bring race things up? And it's like, because sometimes it is the thing and it is the point, right? Because they pick and choose when it is relevant. But on to the next thing. This is why we harp a lot, not even harp, but when we talk about Trump, it makes us mad because now Trump and his friends are continuing to attack people that are not doing what he says, right? Like, I know we try to say that, like, oh, America is a democracy and we vote for what we want, but it seems that Donald Trump does not believe that. If you're not doing what he wants, he will make it his mission to make sure that he destroys you. Point blank, period. This is a graphic here. So now the guy on the top, he is Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, and Trump said today, well, he said on Thursday that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's termination cannot come fast enough, as he reiterated his frustration that the Fed hasn't aggressively cut interest rates. So because the Fed chair is not listening to Donald Trump's request, he's just like, oh, we want you to lower the interest rates immediately. He like, oh, I can't wait to terminate you. He's not worried about like rules and regulations or like how things work. He just wants, if I say make it green, you need to make it green. Another thing, right? On Tuesday, Trump called for Harvard, the university that's known to be like very elite and very high. Now he got a problem with Harvard University, right? He said on Tuesday, he publicly called the university to revamp its hiring, admissions practices, and its curriculum. Harvard denied to do so. So the IRS is now weighing whether to revoke Harvard's tax exemptions. And if you're wondering, like, oh, why does it matter if the school has tax exemptions or not? Essentially, that means that when these wealthy people donate, right, to help cover like tuition costs and stuff like that, whatever they donate, like the full amount helps helps with tuition. Now, if they got to pay for taxes, they're not getting the same amount of money to give to students and help them get a full ride, for instance, for school. Because y'all know anything about taxes be a whole lot of. And it's all because Trump wants them to change their curriculum and do as he pleases. Sir, why are you worrying about what Harvard has going on? Are you a professor? Are you going to be teaching? You don't actually care about the students. That's the stuff that be pissing me off, because we have these school shootings that continue to happen, but instead you're worried about what Harvard is doing and what curriculum they're teaching, or their acceptance policies. You don't actually care about that. Another thing, now he even trying to come for the press. A Supreme Court ruled that
he's been coming for the press.
Right. Well, he has, but now he's back in office. So now he could really dictate the people that be in his room or not, which it should never be like that, right? Like, it's supposed to be freedom of the press. And it's just it's not funny, but it is funny that the same people that care so much about freedoms are the same ones that are real quick to snatch freedoms up. So the Associated Press, to me, I believe, other than like NPR and PBS, is the most like fact-based news outlets out there. It's free. AP.com, Associated Press, you get your news. So because the Associated Press did not want to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, Trump has decided, oh, well, since you're not going to call it what I want you to call it, you don't deserve to be in the press room. What, again, focusing on things that do not matter. So when we talk about Trump, this is why we talk about it, because he is doing so many things that don't matter, to kind of like, you get lost in the sauce sometimes, right? Because you see him talking about these things, you might make yourself believe, well, I guess this is a problem. No, It's not a problem. He wants you to get lost in the sauce and lose focus so you don't see the stuff that is actually happening. It is triggering and annoying.
And it's like I don't feel bad that I'm about to say this, but it's like peace, love, and 92%. I don't. It's like I don't feel bad because it's unfortunate that the people who didn't want him in office have to be impacted because of the choices that he makes every single day. But to me, I think it's very funny how a lot of his supporters are getting quieter and quieter as things continue to progress.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you didn't know. Ignorance is bliss. You thought because you were ignorant that you wouldn't be impacted. And now that everybody is about to be impacted in some shape, way, or form, it's like, oh, now you want to be silent. No, baby, keep speaking. You were so proud to do what you did. You were so happy to have him in office. He was gonna make such a difference. Now we heading in, I think we are in a recession. Now we heading into a depression. It's like I
Yeah.
don't have much else to offer but peace, love, and 92%. Honestly, you got what you wanted. You got your president. You got him.
Yeah, I understand that, like the not caring, but it's also like regardless of if you voted for him or not, you're going to be feeling the
Of
consequences.
course.
So I feel like I understand it. Like, yes, be mad about it, but like if if that mentality continues of like, oh well, it has nothing to do with me, then that's exactly how these people stay in power.
I think what it is though, the reason why I'm saying I don't care is because I was already wholeheartedly prepared already. Like I already understood that I was going to be impacted because of the what people other people wanted. I
Mhm.
already understood that. And so because of that, that's why there is no surprise to me. That's why there is no like I have no urgency to say anything because I already knew. I feel like most of the people who already saw how this was going already understood because we already saw the documents coming out. We already saw what people were saying. We already heard what everybody was saying about his tariffs and how this would impact the economy. But
Mhm.
yet, people chose to not listen and now they got what they wanted. So I was already prepared. Shayla was already mentally prepared. We were mentally prepared already, which is why we were speaking up so much before everything happened. And now that everything's happened, the
Yeah.
people who did not support him, like the 92%, we are sitting this one out because we already were prepared. Nothing is surprising us. So the people who are shocked, shook, and disheveled, baby, keep it. End up on the block.
Mm.
Shake that thing for $1.
Well, on that note, I also want to. We're not gonna go deep into this, but to the point of like people that are, oops, my lip gloss fell. People that are feeling the effects of the administration. So a 29-year-old man, this is him right here on the right. His name is Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, and he's a 29-year-old father of three, as you see right here. That's his wife in the blue dress, and he was wrongfully deported to El Salvador, right? If you have seen the news, you've seen like El Salvador is known to have like these very hard prisons, whatever. They have like I guess a deal with the United States. And the administration acknowledged that the reason why he was deported was, quote, due to a administrative error. They said that they believe that he was a part of a gang, which is why they deported him to El Salvador. The man Kilmar has never been there was no proof that he was a part of a gang. He's never been convicted. There's no criminal record. And now the family is like,
Can I get him back?
he needs to come back. The president of El Salvador was just here in the United States, and he had a whole press conference with President Trump, and the leader of El Salvador said that he wasn't going to bring him back. So that when you hear these people saying, oh no, we only want the good immigrants here, the people that have criminal records, those are the ones that we're sending back, again, that is a lie. Here you have this 29-year-old man that was here raising his 3 kids. Yes, he did come illegally, but he married someone. They had kids. They had a family. He wasn't in trouble. He was just living his regular life, working. And because they thought that he was a gang member, they didn't allow him to go through the legal process, which the right wing wants you to believe that no, we are giving everyone the opportunity to like prove that whatever. That's all a lie. So now you have this family that is broken, and all the administration is saying, oh, well, we deported him by mistake due to an administrative error. And when the family is like, okay, well, you're admitting that it was an error, why not just bring him back?
Right.
You're like, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to bring him back. Those are the things that are just so unacceptable. And I hope people understand that this, whatever this administration is trying to feed you, it is a lie. They say things to make you, to fool you, but don't get fooled by none of that. Another thing is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is another BFF. And the Wall Street Journal dropped an article, and it's titled "The Tactics Elon Musk Uses to Manage His quote legion of babies and their mothers." Elon Musk has 14. Let me make sure I'm not making this up.
I thought Nick Cannon was bad, but
Elon Musk has 14 children, okay, with 4 women. He has this, he believes, I don't know, he's like scared that the population is going to end or something. And I guess he thinks that he's the savior of the species. And what I really want to talk about, and I want to ask you, because you're the one that wants
the species.
You're the one that wants to have more than 10 children. The latest mother, she's a right-wing social media person. Her name's Ashley. And she said she was offered $15 million and $100,000 a month in support in exchange for her silence about the child. Would you accept that?
Okay, so the money hungry person in me is like, girl, yes. But another part of me is, I'm very big on like, I don't really like the idea of broken families.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of, you got to balance your morals there. Are you morally, do you feel like that's unacceptable because you're thinking also of your child, or does the greed outweigh it? So I think for me, I never want to sit there and be like, no, I wouldn't do that. Are you ridiculous? But I also want to be like, heck yes. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would, but at the same time, I could.
And this is what I'm telling you. He thinks that he's gonna be the savior of the species. So the Wall Street Journal got some text, and in it, he's texting the latest baby mother. Mm-hmm. Quote, "To reach legion level before the apocalypse," he said to St. Clair in a text message viewed by the Wall Street Journal, "we will need to use surrogates." So he's thinking he wants to have more than 14 children because he thinks that, like, I don't know what he thinks. My question is, I don't care if you're giving me a bajillion. I do not want to be connected to you in any shape, way, form. I don't care if it's an insemination, is not really doing it the natural way. Absolutely not. If I have to see you, and that's why I feel like a lot of times, not a lot of times, but like when people keep children that they don't want, the kid suffers because you're always going to be seeing that person, because the way life works, when you don't really mess with someone while you're pregnant, the baby be looking just like that person. So my answer, I don't care if you're giving me $100,000 a month. I know I'm dropping a bag, but I can't fake the funk. That's just not who I am. So on that note,
that's why I said I don't know. I want to say like nah, but also I want to talk about give a quick response to what we were talking about, the man who was shipped.
Yeah.
Sent to El Salvador. Mm-hmm. First off, I hope that family is able to get the situation rectified. It seems like all parties from El Salvador to Trump, they don't really care. That's what it's giving. But it's like, to the people who are like, oh, well, he still came here illegally. Da-da-da-da-da. If they were to ship your grandparents back, do you even know how you'd be able to find them? I bet you wouldn't. You wouldn't even be able to figure out how to rent a car to get there. So it's just like, you can't pick and choose and gatekeep who you feel like can be here and who can't be here, when the whole name of the United States of America is United States of America, where different groups of people come to unite. You got to remember, your great grandparents, your grandparents, your whoever it is, half of them weren't even from here. They came from a different location. Like, I need you to understand that. Y'all, like, whoever believes this philosophy of people coming here illegally, regardless of how you want to see it, Christopher Columbus came here illegally too, baby.
But it's all a lie, because they say, well, we only want immigrants if they're following the law. Then here you have someone that, like, yes, they came here illegally, but they weren't bothering anyone. They weren't committing crimes. They had a stable life with his wife, his 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? He got his life together. And now you think that he's a gang member? Like, it's literally profiling people.
Literally following the principles of the American dream.
It's actually ridiculous. It's infuriating. But now let's get into a more softer topics, because we deserve, honey.
So yes, welcome to our social corner. I know if you're a reoccurring viewer, you understand what this section is, but if you are new here, let me give you a quick breakdown. Our social corner is where we talk about a bunch of different topics that we've been seeing on social media or anything like that, that we feel like we just want to give our quick little 1-2s about, not go too in depth. But, instead of like for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, we talked about each of those topics that we talked about at the top of the show. But now for these 15 minutes, we're going to talk about a variety of different topics in this little segment. Yes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Blue Origin, right? And the Blue Origin spaceship that has everyone talking, right? And the reason why everybody's talking is because we had Gayle King, you had Katy Perry. Who else was there?
Jeff Bezos' fiance.
Yeah, Lauren Sanchez. What? And he support Trump? His girl last name Sanchez?
I don't know. Is she Latina? I don't know.
I mean, that gives Latina, but you know what? I'm not going to get too much into it. So this whole trip has started a lot of backlash, because some people are all looking at this like big origin space trip. Like, what was the reason, right? So Gayle King defended her recent space flight with Blue Origin, and regardless of the public.
I'm going to show some footage while you're talking about.
Of course. So she said the April 14th trip featured an all-female crew, like we mentioned, Katy Perry, Gayle King, Lauren Sanchez, and other people. And the flight lasted less than 11 minutes. And basically, Gayle King is saying that this, in response to the backlash, she's basically saying that this trip was to inspire young girls and highlight space exploration and, the potential to benefit the Earth. Right. So all these different people are giving criticism, like we said, because a lot of people are like, y'all went up there for less than 11 minutes for what? Like, what was the reason? Right. So when I saw this, I sat there, I was like, so y'all went up there for less than 11 minutes. Y'all come down, y'all ringing bells. Gayle King is currently trending as a meme because she just looked like unimpressed.
But first of all, no one asked her to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
it's giving. That's why I said, Cardi B, you will forever be the GOAT for this meme. What was the reason? Because I just don't understand. And there's no I think last year it was estimated. So the exact cost of the Blue Origin ticket is still a bit of a mystery. In the summer of 2021, Blue Origin auctioned off a seat for its first crew flight for $28 million. So this is I think the whole thing cost about or over $20 million to do that for less than 11 minutes. And it's like, y'all had those other people stuck up in space for how many months, and y'all weren't able to bring them down. But did y'all have enough time for 11 minutes? 11 minutes go by quick.
The gaslighting is insane. We all know that the wealth gap is a very major issue in America, but this was front and center. They were in space for around 4 minutes. The whole trip, going up and down, is what took the 11 minutes. The marketing took longer than this whole situation. And they're trying to trying to tell me that this is good for like space and da da da. What is the progress report? What are the findings? Like, what y'all went up there to do? Like, if this was so they're talking about the astronauts. You're not an astronaut. You cannot compare someone that went to school and are like the people that were stuck there for months. Those are the people that I can like clap and whatever because they were up there doing some work. What did you discover? You went up there, you filmed this little video and came down with nothing. And I think creating this Blue Origin capsule probably took billions of dollars. And it's just like we have so many other issues, like we've discussed at the top of the show. And I get it. It's your money. You do what you want with your money. But when it's so in your face and then you're trying to gaslight us into believing that like you did us a service by going up there, no tea, no shade. But the people that wanted to be astronauts, they're looking at other astronauts and seeing what they're doing. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Gil King went to space. Katy Perry went to space. So now I can too. We know that I don't got 100K like just chilling on the savings. I can't do that.
And it's like, my thing is, right, I think now, like, I've never really had an opinion on Gayle King. I know she's best friends with Oprah, and that's really all about her. And it's like, for me, like, your response to the backlash is giving very much like, girl, who do you think you are? Like, she's talking about this was like to be an inspiration to young girls. To your point, if I am interested in going into space, why wouldn't I look at actual astronauts? Why would I look at Katy Perry, who sing California Girls, and think, oh my gosh, she makes me want to go to the moon?
Also, like, I'm sure she means well, but I feel like this is how you know, like, when we're in different tax brackets, because sometimes when you have been like, yeah, she worked hard to be where she is, but also when you're like so up there and you are in a different tax situation, it's kind of hard to see where others are coming from.
Yeah,
it's just it gives read the room a little bit, but we hope that everything worked well for them. And I felt like the public reaction was not good, and I understand. Next.
Yeah, and then I just want to say this last point really quickly. I saw all the like the post interviews. One of the girls were crying, talking about some, oh my God, like this was such a Katy Perry talk about some, I feel so much love. Like this has really connected my heart to love.
They was girl, you saw them eating grass. I mean, not grass.
Kissing the ground,
eating the dirt. You acting like you was forced to do that.
And then she came down, she kissing the ground. I'm like, girl, who sent you up there?
No, like they were acting like they did not choose to do that. But whatever, it's a meme. We're thankful for the meme. I guess that's what we got. The $1 billion got us the Gayle King meme, and we're grateful. Next, China is spilling all the tea on TikTok. We know we've been talking here tariffs, and tariffs is expected to make things more expensive. I believe even Shein has put out a statement saying like, girl, you better lock in now because in a few
on April 25th,
we're hiking up the prices. And so Chinese retailers or like companies are they're coming on TikTok and they're promoting low cost dupes of luxury brands to American consumers. And yeah, what do you feel about that? They're trying to say that like, oh, these luxury brands might say that they're made in Europe and here or there, but actually they're made here in China, and they're just putting their logo on it and selling you the China made stuff, but you're falling for the fake news.
I mean, I feel like we've always understood that these luxury brands are a scam. I think I feel like most people understood that when you pay these high dollar amounts for these stuff, you're paying for the name. You're not paying for the actual
quality.
Like, because my thing is, I always said this before. People will sit there and judge and judge and judge, but if you buy something off DH Gate, it's dang near close to the actual product, right? So the thing that we've been seeing people say is that like, even though this is saying that this is like, let's say Lululemon, we're literally the warehouse that facilitates these items to them. They ship it to another country, get the label put on, and when it comes to them, that's when they hike it up by like increase the price by a whole 45%, right? I feel like as a society, we get so caught up in brand names that we try to judge other people and diminish other people because they aren't affording the quality name stuff. And I feel like we've all understood that. That's why the DH Gates have always been popular, Sheen, Fashion Nova, because you want to look cute. I just don't have an arm and a leg to give to pay top dollar to wear Lululemon. I don't even want to wear Lululemon because he don't want me in Lululemon anyway. So it's like, I feel like when I saw China doing this, I was like, I thought this was already common knowledge, that we knew that these companies basically do this. Like, they make you pay for the name. They don't make you pay that much for the quality. And I know it seems like good quality, but I have a Louis Vuitton purse, and the amount of times I've touched it is less than 5. It's just like,
yeah, I just think it's such like, I mean, maybe it's not an American thing, but I just feel like I'm not a name brands person. It could be simply because I don't think I own anything name brand. I'm a Marshalls girl, H&M girl. Like, give me generic. I don't, but again, it could just simply be because it is out of my tax bracket. But I just cannot see myself spending thousands of dollars on something that, like, you're gonna maybe wear once. Because that's another thing. You don't want to rewear stuff. I mean, I rewear, but these higher class people, they spend a bag on something to only wear once. Like,
and I
for
also,
what?
I want to understand where the philosophy came from that, like, just because it's made in China that it's automatically cheap. Like, I want to understand the philosophy of that, because just like we do, we export materials from other places that are high quality. The amount of, I believe it's leather that's exported from Africa and brought to these other places to make these things, the leather is top quality. So just because it says made in China, because we used to purchase things off of Wish, which were defected items, which is why you could buy them for $1, maybe that's why people think things made in China are cheap. But I don't know why y'all have that philosophy, because if I know anything, I think, isn't like China one of those fashion locations, or is that not?
I mean, they're giving, their working conditions are not good, which is
Right.
why so many things come out of there, because their employees work endless hours. But I think a lot of stuff are made in China just because they are a manufacturing company. And I know Trump is trying to sell this dream that we're just going to bring jobs here, but I want you to know, listen, my mom worked the factory job a majority of her time here, and I saw her struggles. I promise you that Americans are not going to want to do that.
Right.
Y'all claim that y'all want all of these things. Okay, let's make America a manufacturing company. Let's see who gonna be in these streets at 3 a.m. to catch a bus to go to a factory and be there working with a machine, because you're not working with people. You're working with a machine. And then let's talk.
To your point, like, America is not a manufacturing type of country. Yes, we manufacture certain items, but for sustainability, we can't manufacture everything, right? And a lot of the materials we get, like I said, we export from other countries.
Right.
It's like, we doing all this, starting all these problems, all these troubles. So when I saw that China was doing all this, I said, I'm not mad at them. Go
And
ahead.
they're matching energy. These
Exactly.
leaders are not like, oh, well, Trump said this. They said, oh, especially these countries that know that we need them. They're like, okay, you want this? All right, let's double that. Let's
And
play
to
that
the
game.
right, and to the people who think they know so much, look and see how much we take from China and how much China gets from us. And when you see the disparity in the numbers, then talk to me about why you think that Trump's tariffs are so amazing.
Mm, 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 mm. I just want to say, China, thank you for your service.
Yes.
Next, Angel Reese, our girl, our cousin. We are so proud of you. She has just purchased a home at the age of 22. Okay. We are so proud of her. She has her podcast called Unapologetically Angel Reese. She is unapologetically her. She's doing her big one. Not long ago, she, retired her mom, paid off her mortgage. And so, for all the haters that continue to be worried about what she's wearing, who she with, just know that she is great and thriving and getting ready for her WNBA season.
Yes. And the thing I like so much was her response. Like, let me pull it up real quick. Hold
Oh, I
it.
have it here.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Yes. So her
no, that's not it. This one.
technical difficulties. So she basically said, they said she needs to cover up. So I went on the cover of Vogue. They said she can't afford her rent. So I went and bought a house. Thank you. And it's like,
Period.
I love that because honestly, we always say this. You are your biggest critic, but it doesn't help also when you hear people always nitpicking into your life. And I get it, she's a public figure. So people are going to feel like they can say and do whatever they want to her. But it's just like, you don't even have the same income as she does. You're not even in the same tax bracket. You can't even breathe the same air as her, even if you go to a game. You all the way in section 300 while she on the court playing.
Yeah.
And like, so when I saw this, I was like, I'm so proud of her, happy for her. Shayla's 28, I'm 26. Like, me and Shayla can't afford a house right now.
Don't remind me of that.
Girl, I'm sorry, not to remind you, but realistically, we can't. And it's just like, I would love to retire my parents. I would love to pay my parents' mortgage off, but I physically, actively cannot, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, to see this and her being so young, people think that she doesn't have a good head on her shoulders, but to be able to do this type of stuff, you have to have some type of discipline. You have to have a good head on your shoulders to be able to do all these different things that she is accomplishing. And it's like, if you feel so inclined to have something to say, I need you to compare your life to everything that she is accomplishing. And granted, we don't know what she's going through behind closed doors. Yeah. But I also don't know what other people are going on behind closed doors, but the fact that you decide to make yourself to the forefront and say, oh, that's why she need to cover up this, that, and the third. She does this, she does that. You can't even afford a car.
Yeah, you're talking all this. Yeah, you're talking all this trash, and while you're at your mom's couch. Let's be for real. Okay. Next, another couple. Let's talk about this other couple that stays on the headlines. It really is sad.
Yes. So we've talked about this in the past about Cardi B and Offset. We know they're currently going through a divorce. They've been back and forth on social media. There's accusations of infidelity from both parts. And it's just like, we haven't talked about them for a while because it was seemingly quiet for a while, right? I know around Valentine's Day, Cardi B was seen out with Stefan Diggs, so there was speculation about them dating and stuff like that. And so recently, a photo has showed up with her basically dancing on him and him catching that. She throwing it back, he catching it. Catching it. So a little breakdown. Cardi B is at the center of fresh controversy after leaked DMs revealed her accusing Ari Fletcher. And if you don't know who Ari Fletcher is, she is the mother of one of G Herbo's oldest son, Yosan, and she currently is dating Moneybagg Yo, right? Of sleeping, she's accusing Ari Fletcher of sleeping with Offset while Cardi and Offset were still together. The messages shared by blogger One Go Alexis show Cardi B expressing frustration and calling out the alleged infidelity. Ari appeared to respond indirectly on Twitter, criticizing women who tell on others to their partners. Further drama unfolded when One Go Alexis claimed Offset admitted to the affair, saying it happened while Cardi was in Atlanta. And neither Ari nor Offset has publicly addressed the allegations, but the internet is buzzing and fans are picking sides. And meanwhile, Cardi B has recently been spotted getting real cozy, like I mentioned, with Stefan Diggs, fueling dating rumors. Offset gave a surprising response to a fan who basically said, I know Offset is punching the air right now. And he responded saying, I'm happy for her. And he gave 2 exclamation points. So it's like, to me, when I saw this, right, I think we've had this conversation of coming to people as a woman and how I said, don't do that to me. Because there's already a negative connotation to it. If you come to me as a woman, to me, I'm automatically on defense when you do that. I also think if I have a man and you sleep with my man and me and you run in similar circles, baby, I'm not letting you get what? You not about to just slide by and nobody gonna know, baby. Your name the first one I'm saying, actually. Okay. And I just think this whole situation, I can't wait for Offset and Cardi B to be done with each other in terms of the drama and stuff like that. I don't want to hear about infidelities no more. We already know about it. We already seen it. The thing is, what are y'all going to do next? How are you guys going to continue to make a productive life for your children? Y'all have, I think they have 4 kids or 3 kids together. How are you guys going to co-parent? How are you, three kids? It's like, how are you guys going to co-parent? How are you guys going to make it like make sure that the love is felt from both parents for your children? Now that you guys understand that you guys don't want, well, one of them might not want to be with the other, but whatever, the point of the matter is y'all are getting a divorce. Y'all are getting a divorce. So now what is next? How are you guys going to create a stable environment for your children without you guys being together? Regardless of what happened in the past, you can hold that dear to your heart and always remember that. But at the end of the day, y'all have kids. What is next?
Yeah, I think the double standard is always so like insane to me because not everyone knows, but like, yes, everyone knows that Offset cheated on Cardi B several times. And, people laughed at her, made fun of her. Like, how can you take this man back? But like now I feel like now that Cardi B is doing her and found someone else, people are mad at that. And it's like, at some point, y'all need to let it go. People's relationships break. I feel like they tried several times to make it work, and it's just not working. If Offset, this was his response, I hope that this is a step up because usually he be going crazy. And in terms of Ari, I don't know why she like if her thing is that she mad that Cardi B said what she said, you shouldn't have messed with my man while we were together. Like, if it's not you denying it and it's you just being mad that I said it, like let us be all the way for real.
It's like, girl, like honestly, I'm over here on my process. I'm like, everything is a healing process when you get into these type of relationships, especially Cardi B has given it chance after chance after chance. And it's like, if I already stated like you slept with my man, I know about it. If I never walked up to you and whooped you behind, take that as the win, And like, I think it's like, Ari, if you're not going to say nothing for real, if you're really not going to say no, it didn't happen, why are you speaking? Like, I don't feel no way or nothing when it comes to Ari. Like, yeah, she got a fat butt. Go ahead, sis. That stuff be shaking.
Yeah, but that
but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, congratulations. Next. Like, and I just feel like, to your point, it's like the double standards are very evident. I remember when Cardi, like, I think it was his like 4th time cheating, and some people were like, her line where she's like, I turn Offset on, right? They're like, clearly, they're like, somebody had commented under her, was like, I turn Offset on, and other females as well turn him on too. And I was like, dang, y'all ain't never letting that girl live. But so it's like, I don't think Stefan Diggs, because I know his, like, not know him, but like I've seen reports about his dating history, and like, he's a hoe. Like, that's really what it is. It's like, because I've seen that, I don't think that this is a settled down type of relationship.
It could just be for funsies.
Right. The thing is, like, she's been in a relationship for so long with this, trying to make it work, having his children, and it not working. She's allowed to have fun. Even though she has kids, that doesn't stop her from being a mother. That just allow her to be what she want to be. Like, she has a village for a reason. So people, like, when they see her post like photos with Stefan Diggs, I see people in the comments like, she's never with her kids. How do you even know? You don't live with her.
Exactly. We only see what they want us to see. Right. And that's very key for these high profile people. Trust me. When they want to be seen, they are seen. And when they don't, they're not.
You don't see them. Exactly. To this day, we don't know who Lotto's man is. Like,
there you go.
Who is he? But the next thing I want to talk about is something that I just found out on social media. And when I saw this, I was like, is this a joke? Like, I'm like, as a society, we got to sit down sometimes and reevaluate. And I know I say that a lot and all the time, right? But we really need to evaluate. Okay. So, Shayla, did you know that there's a thing such as sperm racing?
No, I did not.
Right. I didn't stutter. I didn't say it wrong. Yes.
Sperm. I just want because sperm, you really can't, like, isn't it like microscopic, like for you to see it? Like, how do you see that?
Right. I had the same question. I thought it was an April Fool's joke until I saw the article. So this man named Eric and his sperm racing startup team appeared on TMZ Live to talk about their unique eyebrow raising initiative, the world's first sperm race. They're recruiting two college age donors, one from UCLA and the other one from USC, and turned them into sperm athletes, paying them thousands weekly to optimize their sperm health. Wait, yeah, optimize their sperm health with specialized training, diets, and supplements. The goal, you ask? What's
For
the goal?
kids.
Huh?
To be more fertile, to have kids.
Oh, no, 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 mama. Ready. To raise awareness about male fertility and to make sperm healthy, to make sperm health a mainstream topic. Despite the
So
whole
I'm right.
yes, but girl, they let me see this.
So
Despite
they have a good end goal.
the team and Shayla, I'm not done yet. Just wait. Insist its serious mission backed by science, even featured a scientist working during the interviews, though they've had offers from adult themed sponsors and casinos, and they're staying focused on their mission. The big race is set for April 25th at the Hollywood Palladium. And yeah, they're basically
So
going.
the goal is to help men who are dealing with like infertility. I feel like
That's
it
the mission.
sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but if the end goal is to like destigmatize, because when it comes to infertility, a lot of times people think that women are the problem, but a lot of times it be the men and their sperms don't be swimming and don't be racing. So I think although it sounds crazy on the surface, the end goal is to destigmatize like men be the problem and like the sperm count and how strong a sperm is. And so if this is what it takes for the men to be more vocal about it and be more open to testing, then
But
let's
Shayla,
go to the sperm race.
this is an actual race.
But how is that? You can't
So,
see a sperm racing. You can't see a sperm
so
racing.
apparently, hold on, let me
Girl,
make
you in this apparently we don't
sure.
know.
I'm trying to make sure. Hold up, hold up. Once the samples are taken, they will be placed in a pipette and injected into a microfluid device in the center of the palladium and a famed concert venue, a live video feed magnified 40 times to display 0.05 mm
Girl,
spermatome
it's all a marketing
will
tactic.
track the sample's progress. Sperm technically swim at 5 mm per minute, meaning each race will take at least 40 minutes. Whichever crosses the finish line as verified by advanced imaging will be declared the winner. The event will run over 3 races in front of a crowd of 4,000 spectators and feature play-by-play commentary, instant replays, leaderboards, and include the
I support. It's leaning into your audience. The men, they're gonna feel like they watching a sport. And if the end goal is to help men be more open about their infertility, I'm all for it.
So
We
you mean
got
to tell me
people spending billions going to space for a 4-minute video. I'll take this race any day.
I think to me, when I first saw it, yes, I get it because I feel like a lot of time when it comes to infertility, people focus mainly on women, but they don't realize that men also have infertility issues as well. So it's like to me, I think this is when I first saw this, it's definitely attention grabbing.
It
I
is.
was stunned because I was like, there's no way this is real. And as someone who does sports betting, people are doing bets on this. Like that's crazy to me. But I think it's very engaging. I feel like it's such a different concept.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I see a lot of times is like out of the box ideas always get people talking, the conversation rolling. So if this is one of the ways to talk about infertility, I definitely think it's interesting. I just think for me, from the shock point, I'm like,
well, that's how they get it. That's a really good marketing because most people are not going to read articles, but you read that full article. So
girl, I read that for sure. I said line by line.
Anyways, that has been a very engaging social corner, but let's get into our sports corner. Tell them this,
Hey, yes. Welcome to our sports corner where what's sports without women? I feel like that's gonna be my new line for this segment because I love that segment. That little what's sports without women?
Yeah. So the first topic does not have to do with women,
Yeah.
but it is about Stephen A. Smith, the popular sports commentator. He has decided that he feels like he should run for president. How do you feel about Stephen A. Smith not knocking off the idea that he would consider running for president?
To be honest, I it's sad to say because I never thought Trump would win and he did win. So it's like you technically don't even need to have a political science degree at all. You don't even need to go to like law school or nothing like that. You could just become president. And I feel like on one hand, I think it's comical because I'm like, I can just imagine what Stephen A's slogan's going to be. Like, I could just see like the marketing and stuff like that. But on another hand, I'm also like, from the serious standpoint, I'm like, America is such a joke that it's like, I know we used to tell kids you could be president one day. But it's just like, if you don't take those active steps that we've seen past people do, it's like you weren't going to become president. Now it don't matter. Yeah, sure, you could have went to school for like manufacturing and you could still apply to be president. Like, it doesn't matter if your qualifications don't meet. You could still run for president as long as you got the money to do so. And if you can convince and make enough people delusional to the point that you can be the person who's going to run America the best.
Yeah. My 2 cents is that he's not gonna run for president. He's just saying that, and he saw the rumors boiling. The rumors got a few legs to them, and he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna run with this." He talked about this during an ABC interview, and it's just like Rebecca said, America is a very unserious country. So I'm not saying that it could never happen because I feel like Stephen A. Smith has the popularity, the money, the funds, and is in the room with powerful people. But I'm just like, maybe if he ran as an independent, but I don't think Democrats are gonna like legally, vote for him and like the Democratic whatever to actually run as a Democrat. Like I don't see that happening, but also I haven't predicted a lot of things, right? So who knows? I just today in 2025, I don't think I see the Democratic Party.
Another main point, I don't see them like I don't see them voting for, like, I feel like America as a whole, we don't look at Black people the same. And I feel like even though Obama is mixed, they said, y'all got y'all Black man. I'm not going to give y'all another one. I just feel like it wouldn't even happen even if it's something I wanted. Like, I couldn't, if it was true, I couldn't see it going far.
All right. So now let's focus on our beautiful women. The WNBA season is soon approaching. And earlier this week, we had the WNBA draft. Here are our lovely ladies. They did their big one. Okay. I think Kiki Iriafen was the best dress. She highlighted how her dress was made by a Nigerian designer. She is Nigerian and she ate down. Of course, Paige Beckers was the number one draft pick. And like I mentioned last week, she did in fact get drafted by the Dallas Wings. And we're excited for her. Right. I think also a lot of teams got better. I'm excited for Connecticut. The Connecticut Sun got better. Also, the Washington Mystics got better. Will you be watching this WNBA season? I know you watched a little bit of the NCAA tournament. Will you be moving on with that love to the WNBA? No.
No. Chill on me. I don't want to sit there and say like, yes, I am, and then like I'm lying to you.
But try.
I'm definitely gonna watch a few games because like I said, I do like Paige. I do like what's my girl from Anisha
Morrow. She's gonna be playing for the Connecticut Sun.
Right. I love love a Black woman to infinity. Yeah, I like her. And I love her TikToks with her man. He's giving main supporter. They love this little they love that girl. They love that dance. And then also, Shayla, we gotta do that TikTok because as much I love Paige, I also love Auntie Janae and them doing their little dance like this. We gotta
Yeah.
do TikTok. We gonna do.
So I'm conflicted because I am obviously a Liberty fan, but I feel like the longer I watch like the NCAA and also like them playing professionally, I have a lot of favorite players. So yes, the Liberty is my number one, but I do like the Dallas Wings. I love the Dallas Wings even last year because they had, I think I shared with you, like these two tall black girls, they're like their skin is beautiful. It's Kalani Brown and Sierra McCowan, and their personalities were just amazing. So I was like a low-key Dallas Wings fan anyways. But now it's like I'm even bigger of a fan. I'm rooting for Connecticut, the Mist, so many people I love. But the Liberty will always be my number one. The last point we want to talk about is Rebecca.
Yes, the NBA playoffs. Okay, so I already know my Knicks made it in. Cool, calm, great. They're gonna play the Pistons. Isaiah Stewart, I'm telling you this right now. If you get too nuck, if you buck with my players, you gonna have to see me. I saw that he was in the studio. That man has a highlight reel of only fights. You barely can score. Don't play with me before you really gotta see these hands. Anyway,
Girl, you giving like the Angel Reese haters. You hating from outside of the club.
okay, but he can't even get in either. He always
Baby, he
out.
in the league.
He
He
always getting
inside.
suspended. The man barely be. He could catch me outside when he walking out the arena because he got suspended. Anyway, my Knicks, not Knicks, my Warriors. We were very concerned for them because they should have won against the Clippers, and then they didn't. And then they had their play-in game against the Grizzlies. John Morant, that's our cousin. Love him down. I was terrified for him because at one point he tweaked his ankle and he looked like he wasn't about to come back in, but he did end up coming back. And the Warriors won their game and moved into the seventh spot. And now they're going to be playing. And y'all know, if you know in past episodes, I can't stand Dylan Brooks. Oh my God.
Houston Rockets.
Yes, they're playing the Houston Rockets. And I believe when they played the Rockets this season, I know regular season doesn't really count sometimes because, everybody play harder in the playoffs, but the record is 3-2, right? So, and a lot of those games were pretty freaking close, right?
Was this before Jimmy or after?
I believe 4 of the games were before Jimmy, or
Okay.
3 of the games might have been before Jimmy, and then
So the record is not 100% reflective of how they are now.
right. And I think one of the games like that they lost, Steph was out or something like that. But whatever. This all goes to say that they are going to be playing the Rockets. And first off, I don't know his last name. Wendy, who was always on Get Up and First Take. His name's Wendy. Yeah, his name is Wendy.
Wendy is like yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love him down. Y'all know I love math. And I like when analysis sound like analysis. It doesn't sound like you're just using words or just saying things because you yes, you can say stuff from like a professional standpoint on like your beliefs and stuff like that. But I love when people bring up numbers to support their statement because it's like, yes, the facts are the facts. And this is what the statistics are saying. He was giving some stats about Steph when he was playing against the Grizzlies and he was throwing numbers out there. And when I tell you, that made me lock in 10 times more. I already like Get Up, and that made me want to watch it more every day, especially when Wendy is on. Before I wasn't following him on social media, but now I am. So Shams, Wendy, y'all got my hearts right now. But this all goes to say, people were talking about, like if the Warriors lose, I think like, is the OKC better for them or is it going to be the Rockets? I'm glad that they got the Rockets because OKC...
Who would that's not even like a logical question. Of course you don't want a OKC.
Yeah, but it's like they were saying like the Warriors are good, but they're not great right now. But it's like
there isn't OKC like the number 1 seed in the West.
Yes.
So why would you want to face the number 1 seed, even if like you think you're no?
Listen, all I know is I believe the play-ins continue until I believe Friday, and then the games actually start on Saturday for the playoffs. And so
best of luck to all the teams involved. I will be rooting for the Celtics. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, comment a basketball in honor of the WNBA draft and the WNBA season and
And the
playoffs
NBA
starting.
playoffs. Yes. So comment
Exactly.
a basketball, and I believe you
A
can
hoop.
also comment a hoop. Yeah. So a basketball and a hoop. Comment that below. And if you have made it this far, if you are a new subscriber, because I saw somebody just do that where they commented that they're a new subscriber and that they love the conversation. If you are a new subscriber, let us know. I want us to start shouting out our new subscribers just so you guys understand that we really do appreciate everything that you guys do in terms of subscribing, liking, commenting, and just being there with us throughout this journey. We are close to 200 subscribers. I didn't think we would ever get there. Well, not ever get there, but like we literally started this in August. We're not even a year yet, and we're already about to be at 200. So I appreciate all the love, all the support. Thank you guys so much. I'm extremely grateful for you guys. And don't forget to follow us on all our social platforms
Yep.
on Too Much SB.
Yep. On Instagram, TikTok, Threads, whatever you have, we have Too Much SB, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Woo woo. Bye.